What's up, everybody? Weston here with the Hidden Gibbon, back with another Daily Deck Tech video, and today we're going back to something I love a lot, Control. I'm a Control player at heart. A lot of my decks are just straight up Control or stacks. This one won't be so much stacks, so much just Control. So without further ado, let's get straight into the Council of Four. First, can we comment on how the etched foils from the Baldur's Gate series just did not turn out as cool as they could have? I have a few, and mine look about like this. Just not great. But who was the Council of Four? Well, they're a 0/8, so they got that big booty. They are 3 generic and Azorius, and whenever a player draws their second card on their turn, you draw a card. And notice it says a player, so you can do it as well. And whenever a player casts their second spell during their turn, you create a 2/2 white knight creature token. Again, you can trigger this as well. So the goal here is Control. We're going to try to draw, have our opponents draw, generate ourselves some draw, and generate some knight tokens, and then get there primarily with our knight tokens. All right. Also, you can hear my cat Yamato in the background. He's somewhere in my office. Normally, I don't let him in here. But for creatures, we've got ourselves starting off with Delny Streetwise Lookout. As I was saying, Delny Streetwise Lookout is here to double your triggers for creatures with power 2 or less. They can't be blocked as well by creatures with power 3 or greater. This is also one of the most expensive cards in the deck, coming in at about $48. It certainly needs some reprints. Unfortunately, due to the way that we have many sets and no blocks now, probably not going to see a reprint of it for quite some time. We have Afara, God of the Polis, indestructible as long as your devotion to white and blue is less than 7. It's not a creature. And at the beginning of each upkeep, if you had another creature enter the battlefield under your control last turn, draw a card. So if you get a token on your turn, you're going to draw a card on the next player's upkeep, that sort of thing. We have Faramir, Prince of Ithilien. At the beginning of your end step, choose an opponent. At the beginning of that player's next end step, you draw a card if they didn't attack you on that turn. Otherwise, you get to create 3 1/1 white human soldier creature tokens. As you can see, we have lots of ways to generate tokens in this deck, which will help us with our Afara. Also, other, triggers, just getting a whole bunch of tokens out there and just poking people to death with them. We have Flumph. He has a flying and defender, and whenever he's dealt damage, you and target opponent each draw a card. So you can be a friend with someone. We have Gwafa Hazid, Profiteer. You can put a bribery counter on target creature you don't control. Its controller draws a card, and creatures with bribery counters on them can't attack or block. It's a good old card from Conflux. I really enjoy this card, and my friend John actually had a Gwafa deck back in the day. We had Herald of Hoofbeats, which is 3/3 with for 4 horsemanship, and other knights you control have horsemanship. The idea here is generating our knight tokens. So we're not a knight's deck, but a little bit of synergy with our knight tokens can go a long way. We have Homunculus Horde, so whenever you draw your second card each turn, create a token that's a copy of this creature. This can get out of hand pretty quickly. I, myself, play this in Arena quite a bit, and it does get out of hand very quickly. We have Kami of the Butt Cheeks, also known as Kami of the Crescent Moon. It's a 1/3 for double blue. At the beginning of each player's draw step, that player draws an additional card. Well, because we have a Howling Moon effect, and if you have Council of the Four out, you're just going to get constant draw effects, and, that's pretty fun, getting yourself lots of cards. We have Knight of the White Orchid, who is a knight, so it does synergize, but is catch-up ramp. He has first strike, he's a 2/2 for 2, and when he enters the battlefield, if an opponent controls more lands than you, you may search your library for planes, put it on the battlefield, and then shuffle. But it's not tapped when it comes in. Quain for a little bit of group hug draw. Lauren of the Third Path, Vigilance, and when she enters the battlefield, destroy up to 1 target artifact or enchantment. You and target opponent each draw a card. We have Mangara the Diplomat, so lifelink, and whenever an opponent attacks with creatures, if 2 or more of those creatures attack you and or planeswalkers you control, you get to draw a card. And whenever an opponent casts their second spell each turn, draw a card. Mentor the Meek, so whenever a creature you control power 2 or less enters, you can pay 1. If you do, draw a card. This synergizes very well off of your ability with Council of the Four. Nadir Kraken, so whenever you draw a card, you pay 1 and put a 1/1 counter on it and make a tentacle token, a 1/1. Prince Imrahil the Fair, so whenever you draw your second card each turn, you create a 1/1 white human creature token. We have Scrawling Crawler, so at the beginning of your upkeep, each player draws a card, and whenever an opponent draws a card, that player loses a life. In a way, this kind of helps advance our game plan towards a win, because it is going to be rather difficult to just win with the tokens, despite the fact that we do have Delny to keep them from being blocked. Then we have Socrates, Athenian teacher. He's a 0/4 for 3 from Assassin's Creed with Defender. He was a real human being as well. Socrates, Athenian teacher, has hexproof as long as it's untapped, and you can tap him to have until end of turn. Target creature gains if the creature would deal combat damage to a player, prevent that damage, its controller, and that player each draw half that many cards rounded down. We have the Sad Robot for a little bit of land ramp as well as draw. We have the Second Doctor, so that way you have no maximum hand size, and at the beginning of your end step, each player may draw a card. Each opponent who does can't attack you or permanents you control during their next turn. We have Vidalian Wave Knight, which is whenever you draw a card, put a 1/1 counter on each other Merfolk and or Knight you control, again, synergizing just a little bit with our Knight counters, or tokens, sorry. We have Welcoming Vampire, so whenever one or more creatures with power 2 or less enter the battlefield under your control, you get to draw a card. This will, in turn, trigger your Council of 4 as well. Triggers only once each turn. Windborn Muse is just a ghostly prison on a body. Sorceries, we're only running 3. Savine's Reclamation to get stuff back from the graveyard. Battle of Bywater, which will blow up everything with power 3 or greater, so not your knights and not your little tentacle tokens and not your commander, but it will pop everything else and then generate food for each creature you control. Then we have Time Wipe, which is one of my favorite Wrath effects. You get to return a creature you control to its owner's hand, then destroy all creatures. Instance. We are running Aetherize in here to return all attacking creatures to their owner's hands. We do have Arcane Denial, Permission Denied, Counter Spell in here, and Dovin's Veto for a little bit of counter magic, as well as Render Silent. For removal, we do have a Generous Gift, Pungify, a Path to Exile, Swords to Plowshares, Stroke of Midnight. We also have Ablation in here, which is the owner of target non-land permanent shuffles it into his or her library, then draws 2 cards. This card used to actually be super busted in the early days of EDH, when you couldn't just take your commander and put him in the command zone whenever you wanted. You would have to actually shuffle your commander in. It was pretty nutty. We also have Vision Skeins. Each player draws 2 cards. Words of Wisdom, draw 2 cards, and each other player draws a card. And Unbreakable Formation and Rootborn Defenses to make our stuff indestructible. Give ourselves a little bit of protection here. For artifacts, we have Alhamoret's Archive, which this has the really janky secret lair art for it, but it is, if you would gain life, you gain twice that much life instead. But more importantly for this deck, if you would draw a card, except for the first one, you draw 2 cards instead. Mana Rocks, we do have Arcane Signet and Soul Ring. We do have Swiftfoot Boots in here to protect our council or other important card. We have Howling Mine in here to draw us extra cards, and everyone extra cards. Norn's Annex to make it cost people to attack us. Temple Bell lets us each draw a card. Spellbook is a 0-drop artifact that makes it so you have no maximum hand size. And Wedding Ring. When this artifact enters, if it was cast, target opponent creates a token that's a copy of it. And whenever an opponent who controls an artifact named Wedding Ring draws a card, during their turn, you draw a card. And whenever they gain life, you also gain that much life. This is the special border one from Spider-Man. I do not like the white text clashing like with the back there. It's really hard to see, but it is the cheapest version of the card. For enchantments, we are running 13. We have Authority of the Council, so your opponent's stuff comes into play tapped, and then you gain a life. We have Cathar's Crusade, so as we generate those knights and tentacles and other tokens, they will each get 1/1 counters on them, making them incredibly terrifying for your opponents to deal with. Court of Antris, so when it enters, you become the monarch, and at the beginning of your end step, choose up to 1 other target enchantment or artifact. If you're the monarch, you may create a token that's a copy of it. If you're not the monarch, you may have the Court of Antris become a copy of it, except it has this ability. We have Curse of Abrosity, which is enchant a player whenever they're attacked. Each opponent attacking that player draws a card, as well as yourself. Dictate of Crufix is a flash-based Howling Mind effect. Divine Visitation makes it so instead of making 1/1s and 2/2s, you make 4/4 angels. We have Ghostly Prison and Propaganda and Sphere of Safety to prevent people from attacking us. We have Inspiring Leader, which is command creatures you own have creature tokens you control get +2/+2. We have Teferi's Ageless Insight, so you can draw extra cards, and Wizard class for no maximum hand size. We also have Monologue Tax, which is like the poor man's Smothering Tithe. Whenever an opponent casts their second spell each turn, you create a treasure token. Lands, we've got nothing too fancy. The only real standout we have is Hall of Heliod's Generosity to get us back our enchantments if they die, and we also have Reliquary Tower to make it so we have no maximum hand size. But yeah, that is the Council of Four. Pretty straightforward, low to the ground, a combination of token generation, win, and control. Let me know what you think of it in the comments down below. As always, I am Weston with the Hidden Gibbon, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.